Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to wake the world up to what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission is one of the most amazing author experts of a new book that we have coming out. This one's called Mindset Mastery: Awareness, Meditation, Mindfulness, and Manifestation for the Spiritual Warrior. Patrick, welcome.
Thank you, Laura. How are you? Good morning.
I'm so good and excited to have this conversation. You guys, we put this book together that's a collaboration of real stories and master teachings. Our authors are sharing their lives and the tools they use to thrive with you. Today's author and guest is Patrick Fisher, and he is a spiritual life coach. So Patrick, first, thank you so much for being willing to share your story and your master teachings in this book. You guys, this is a book of awareness practices like Patrick's that will transform your life. So Patrick, would you share a little bit about your chapter with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Laura. So my chapter is called Angelic Awareness, Mastering Love as a Divinely Guided Soul. And so to me, it was so important to have this type of book, to have this outlet, to be able to express myself and to share my spiritual beliefs and spiritual practices and just my spiritual approach to life in general. So in my chapter itself, I'm sharing personal accounts of what it was like to go from living a normal life, going into the military, and then sort of having to come out spiritual, meaning to share with others, what it's like to be a psychic, what it's like to be open to these other things that people don't normally see in their day-to-day life. And so my hopes and intentions by writing this chapter and sharing my experiences is to offer a form of peace to those who are struggling spiritually, to those who aren't as open and sensitive to spirit around them, so that they're not maybe fully aware of the influences in their life on a spiritual lens. So my intentions were to share my perspective, my life experiences, and then also to offer hope and validation to those who are struggling spiritually. So my chapter is showing, my personal accounts of what it's like to encounter angels in my day-to-day life, what it's like to have to be that spiritual warrior, to cast out forms of darkness, to be able to protect your environment, your home, from lower level entities. So my chapter is to offer hope to those who are struggling, even to those who have gone through and suffered loss and maybe want to know, are my loved ones okay on the other side? Are they still with me? I wanted to give validation and I wanted to give clarity and peace to those who want to know and have these higher answers to life's important questions. Where do my loved ones go? How do I find enlightenment? How do I release anger, hatred, malevolent spirits, even things of that nature that people are sort of still on the fence of, do I talk about these type of things, even if it's affecting them? And that was my story. It was sort of being in the closet about being spiritual and not wanting to be judged because of the things that I see in my day-to-day life. So I wanted to give, a form of faith and a form of validity to those who are struggling, that are those who are empaths, those who are psychics, who don't maybe have an outlet to have that form of expression, and maybe don't have others in their family who are like them, who can relate to these type of gifts and these type of abilities. So it's a chapter about faith. It's a chapter about finding oneself from a spiritual lens, and hopefully it brings validation to those who are going through any form of spiritual struggles or just curious about what spirituality is in general.
I love that you said that moment about, you're coming out to talk about these things. I honestly think the whole of Brave Healer Productions has been allowing the spiritual community to get real and talk
Yeah.
about some magic, some powerful awareness. And that's why I get so excited about this topic. Plus, I'm such a mindset geek, Patrick. To
Right.
me, like, awareness is everything. So it's what makes the difference between a mediocre life and an amazing one. What does being a mindset master mean to you?
Yeah, that's a great question, Laura. To be honest with you, my approach to this answer really surrounds yourself with what is in your heart space. Because to master the mind is sort of like working on our thought processes that we go through as individuals in life and learning to process our emotions. But I think it goes beyond that. The mindset mastery to me is taking that form of awareness into every one of our thoughts, but understanding that those thoughts also are a form of expression of the heart space. So if there isn't a clear connection between the two, and maybe your thoughts of expression are not coming out in forms of love or connected directly to the heart space, then there's a blockage there. So the importance of mastering your mindset is really about having an openness to your heart. Because if you start operating from the lens of, I'm going to allow myself to have an open heart, and a free form of expression. And I'm going to allow that to translate to that love coming out through the mindset and mastering my mindset. It really comes down to what are you willing to sacrifice in terms of, saying, I'm not going to allow myself to be negative. I'm not going to allow myself to put myself down. I'm not going to allow myself to surround myself with others who are not lifting me up. So it really is a um devotion to what type of a person do you want to be. To master the mind, it's about becoming the best version of yourself. It's about expression. It's about falling in love with yourself unconditionally so that way you can be the best version of yourself. And ironically, that allows others to also feel what is like to be in that energy, and that it should aspire them to say, how can I reach that type of enlightenment where even when I'm going through the hardest struggles in life, I can still maintain that balance. Whether things in my life are at a downward spiral, in terms of what I'm going through in that particular lesson or that particular cycle, or when things are an uphill rise continuously within a cycle of my chapter in that particular part of my life or that stage of my life, like to maintain balance because I realize that life is sort of like a roller coaster of ups and downs in terms of where our learning needs to be. So if you can master the mindset of saying that I'm going to still stay balanced and find peace and my trust in the universe and my trust and my faith in God and my trust and my faith in those around me and my spiritual team, it's so important to understand who your ancestors are and also to keep that connection with them. When you can master that mindset to say, I know my grandmother's passed on, but I know that she has my back spiritually and is always going to protect me. I know my great great grandfather is one of my spirit guides. He's one of the people I channel information from. He always has my back, regardless of what I'm going through. It allows me to have that sort of peace in states of chaos because I realize I can be that light and sort of that bubble that kind of pushes away these negative energies around me, even environmentally, and that brings others peace around me. So what others might look at as extremes or larger than life challenges, or maybe they think like, how can you get through that or endure that? Where does this resilience come from? It comes from my faith. It's my sentiment, and these are my loved ones that are always with me. These are my angels that are always surrounding me. And that's really what it comes down to from a spiritual lens. To master your mindset comes to having an openness to spirituality, embracing your spiritual guide, speaking to your guardian angel, having a relationship with God, with the universe, and that allows you to have that those moments of faith when others are sort of lost, and that's how you can be a guiding force. It's really about mastering yourself so that you can be a larger vessel for the universe to work through.
Oh my God, you said so many amazing things just now. And I wrote one of them down. Mastering your mindset is about opening and connecting to your heart. I loved what you started off talking about there. Yes, with an exclamation point. Listen, I know you have so much going on other than writing in this book. Like, what's up with you? How do people work with you?
Yeah, so I love to work as an intuitive guide. I love to channel for people, sort of like how I'm working in this environment and channeling these energies around me. Now that's sort of what I do from a spiritual lens. The difference is when I'm interpreting tarot cards, it's tarot to me is sort of a way to slow down and get the messages to come through because my mind is always going, as you can kind of tell with my speech, because I'm channeling so much information at one time. So tarot is a way for me to really slow down and get a bigger picture of somebody's life. It helps give me clarity so that I can help them to find more self-awareness, self-respect, and self-love, and then also to release any type of blockages that they may have going on in their life, to release any type of pain from any trauma that they've endured, or the loss of loved ones as well seems to be a prominent topic that I've been enduring lately with a lot of clients. So what I like to do is I like to use my clairvoyance, look into the future for people, and to give them validation of the path that they're currently heading on, and also to give them sort of options of as to if they shift their path one way or another, what's going to happen. So it's really a way to give people assurance that if they go on the path towards their dreams, that it's possible. And sometimes people just need those words of encouragement or those words of, self-assurance within themselves to say, I can do this. I can be a dreamer, and not only a dreamer, a doer. I can achieve that dream and then find another dream and keep going. And that's really what life is. It's about embracing change. Um, so that's what I like to do for clients. I'd like to give them peace through channeling, through a meditative state, if you will. It's me sort of going into a meditation and allowing my guides to bring me information, and then I take that information, write it down for the client, and give it to them. um, but lately I've been going to college for a higher degree in psychology, so I'm someone that sort of sees the future as taking these mainstream ideas, like for example, for what I want to do as a practitioner in psychology for veterans, because I am a veteran. I want to work with those who are working with disabilities, in a veteran background. But not only that, I want to take that field and I want to incorporate my views in spirituality and make it something completely different, maybe a nuanced new age psychology, if you want to call it something like that. But that's what I see the future as. I see it as people taking their intuitive talents and really incorporating that into whatever field they choose to go into. So my intentions are to sort of bridge the gap of the differences between, staying narrowly focused in a particular framework within a career, because that's what the background has always been like, and sort of challenging those mainstream ideas to say, why are we doing it this way when we can, incorporating this larger than life lens, and sort of get people healing through faith, and whatever way they want to choose to follow that is within them. But I just sort of want to be a guiding force and somebody who changes sort of what mainstream psychology is, and to kind of give people an outlet to say, wow, I don't have to sort of just, have this one-to-one conversation where maybe I don't, express these other things because this person's going to think I'm crazy or whatever. Um, and I just don't want people to feel the way that I felt, in the military, speaking to psychologists, dealing with PTSD, and not feeling like I was truly able to express myself. Um, I went through a lot of loss in the military, losing my friends, and even like foreseeing it in others' futures as well. So it was very difficult to be a psychic in that world. Um, it was, and then even have people that would come that need healing, that would just break down to me, and ask questions like, will I be forgiven by God, for taking life, and things of a really hard answers and hard nature to deal with. So I was put there for a reason, to sort of be, a form of light in a really place that's filled with a lot of darkness. But I'm going to choose to use those experiences to help others in the future.
Mm, brilliant. Brilliant combination. I love the vision you have for psychology. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Thank you.
And it goes along with this, you guys. One of the biggest missions I have with all of our Brave Healer Productions books is to help our readers, you listeners, live extraordinary lives. So no matter where you are on your journey, this particular book, I know for sure, is going to help you answer that question. What else is possible here, right? So Patrick, what's a simple stepping stone that you'd like to share with the listeners today to help them kind of jumpstart them on this journey? What's that one thing you want them to know?
Yeah, I want them to know that wherever you're at, you're not lost. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Your home is not here, right? Your home is with the universe. You're here to learn. So life is really about growth, expansion, and change. When you stop doing those things, your life starts to decline because you're no longer doing what you're meant to be doing here. So my challenge to the viewers, to the readers, to all those who find my words is to really look within yourself and to release the things that you've been taught that are holding you back in life. Whatever that one thing is you've always felt passionate about and never pursued, I challenge you to pursue that today. Whatever that place is that you've always felt drawn to on a spiritual level and felt like I need to go there to learn, to grow, to find people of a different culture, of a different nation, of a different ethnic background, to understand myself more, I challenge you to do that. I challenge you to walk with an openness to those who are different than you, because you're not going to learn by surrounding yourself solely by those who are the same as you. Life isn't about that. Yeah, you find nurturement within your community, but you also find self-expression by going out and meeting others who have gone through different struggles and who maybe that you can relate to that you never thought you could. So you need to find that passion within, and it starts by saying, I'm not different than those who are different than me. Who you perceived as different, you need to look in the mirror. That's probably who you were in a past life. And if not, it's probably who you will be in a future life. So if you can understand these concepts that we all are related, we all are here from different backgrounds, but our souls are all connected, then you can start to understand that there's possibility for growth by being different than who you were brought up with. And that's okay. It's great to be different. It's great to change. It's great to evolve. So that would be my challenge to each and every one of you, to look within, to start releasing these fundamental ideas that were imposed on you throughout your lifetime to simply like be just that and nothing more outside of it. And it's really about finding your passions and meeting those. If you're finding a passion, it's probably because it's something that you've worked on in past lives or in between lives. If you're talented, it's probably because you've worked on that talent before. It's just, some people will call it God-given. To me, it's your soul has already worked on these things. Maybe you're musically inclined because you've worked on that in the higher realms. Maybe you're athletic because you've also worked on the higher realms. Maybe you're a creative, like myself, and you love to write because you've done that before. So never be afraid to follow the things that you're passionate about, because you're passionate about them for a reason on a soul level. So that would be my wish for every one of you, is to follow and start pursuing your passions, even if it's taking a small step to sign up for a class, to start writing down your ideas or thoughts, and just simply just start moving forward with what's going to make you happy.
Patrick Fisher, thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with us.
Thank you, Laura.
You guys, Mindset Mastery is coming out January of 23, but until then, if something you heard Patrick say today made you curious, you have a question, you need some support, scroll on down to the show notes. You're going to be able to connect with him on his website, and he's very generously there for you to help you take those next steps. So go check out all of the amazing things that he is up to. You're also invited to continue the conversation and meet the community in the Brave Healer Book Club group on Facebook. That's a group of authors and readers, and I've got that link below for you as well. And you can come to our book launch party. That's going to be on January 22nd. We're going to have all of the authors of the book there for you, sharing their wisdom and inspiration. That's a Zoom information is down below. There's a lot of things down below in those show notes, you guys. And if you happen to be listening after these dates that I'm talking about, then that just means you can hop over to Amazon and grab the copy of Mindset Mastery today, start the journey. Lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it's time to be brave. See you next time, everyone. Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.